Softening. Softening. I didn't wear pink today. I didn't show up in a beautiful, fluffy, soft gown. Because that's not what softening means. Softening doesn't mean weak. It doesn't mean soft. It doesn't mean pink. Softening means allow. Allow. It also means trust. This is the phase in our healing journey where you're truly ready to give up control. You realize that you aren't that creative. At least not as creative as the most confident version of you. And you might be asking yourself in this phase, how do I truly embody confidence? This phase is probably the most underrated phase in our journey. I get up very early in the morning to record these videos. My mom and I get up at 4 a.m. to record these because it's a little quieter in the city when you start recording before 6. My morning routine to make this experience feel good isn't done in the morning. In the morning, I'm still trying to figure out if it's nighttime. 4 a.m. is that weird hour. 3 a.m. is definitely night. 5 a.m. is definitely morning. But the in-between is a very confusing time. I don't wake up at 4 a.m., go downstairs, and make myself a delicious, nutritious breakfast, sit down, have time with my husband and my kids, light a candle, do some intention. No. I grab all of the bags I packed the night before. I've been sleeping like this to keep my hair curled. I wake up like this. I have everything that I need in order to create a moment for you here. Preparation. Any successful person will tell you the magic is not in the routine. It's in the preparation routine. we feel behind. We are always trying to create more time in places that we can't. We're trying to control time. We're trying to control how time is going to go. And when we are trying to control time, it's probably when we feel least prepared. When you are in a controlling state of being, you are not allowing. The softening phase is your preparation routine for alignment. I don't want you to roll out of bed on alignment morning, be late, having it take you an extra hour in traffic, sometimes an extra 2 or 3. And if we're talking about the alignment of our life, I don't want it to take you an extra 2 to 3 years. Because there's a reason why we want to control time. We may not understand it, but we have a very healthy respect of it. Softening is preparing, the true preparation for the change to take place. So let's think about that for a moment. You want to become the most confident version of you. You've identified some values, some desires at your soul and self level. We've learned that we're going to have to reclaim, going to have to rise up, going to have to live a life in alignment of those desires. But then when? When does it happen? Let me give you another word. Expectation. Since we're in the law of contrast healing journey, expectation is the opposite of softening. Now, this is why I have a little trouble with the manifesting teachers out there. I don't know if you guys have heard about this word. I love manifesting. I love how my mom and I teach manifesting. I really despise how it's taught out there. I think it's very, very damaging and very dangerous. My mom and I have been hosting these manifesting live experiences online for years. And when we first started, I was so deflated. Because I was ready to manifest. I was ready to teach manifesting. And what I realized is no one was softened to manifest. Everyone was in control. Everyone was in desperation, delusion, control, and expectation. And we all might have moments of that, but for some reason, whenever the manifesting experience started, all of these emotions, thoughts, feelings, vibrations came forward in such a powerful way. I mean, I was a little shocked when we first started. But then the same thing happened the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And what I realized is there's a lot of false information out there in the world meant to help you, but what really happens is it keeps you stuck. For me, I like to think of softening as a block of ice. A block of ice. Inside the middle of this block of ice is your alignment. Now I can put the block of ice in front of you and say, here's your alignment. But if you have a very thick block of ice, there's no way to get to the middle. You can take a really heavy ice pick and try to smash your way to the middle. And the people that control, the people that push the hardened block of ice, smash the alignment in the process. Sure, you'll get there quicker, but you won't actually ever reach alignment. When I get a block of ice put in front of me with my alignment in the middle, I know that I'm in a room where there's not a lot of ice. It's gonna melt. It's gonna melt. I just have to let it. Now, I'm not a person who likes to wait. Softening isn't waiting. It's allowing. When I trust that ice melts, all of a sudden I'm able to ask a different question. Not how can I break through the ice? How can I create more heat? How can I create more fire? The daily intention, the work. You are in motion. Motion in energy makes heat. Learn something new every day. The faster you go, the more heat is made. Which is why we have such a hard time getting to outer space. We can't figure out how to keep our equipment cool. Action and motion. If you feel stuck, move. If you are trying to control, move. Movement is the easiest form to create heat. As you start to grow and evolve in your confident self, you can create heat through hope and inspiration. See, in the beginning of my journey, I used to have to move a lot. I remember this one morning, I woke up and I was so overwhelmed. May I preface this story by saying I was in my early 20s. I woke up, I was lying in bed, I was staring at the ceiling. And I just couldn't get over the overwhelming thoughts. So I threw on some tennis shoes, threw on some very warm gear because it's snowing outside in New York City today on this morning. And I ran. I ran from my apartment. I ran across the Queensboro Bridge. I ran all over New York City, First Avenue, all the way back home. I didn't stop. No, I'm not a runner. I don't know where that energy came from. But when I got back home, I felt great. I couldn't believe what I had just done. I couldn't believe how much better I felt. And I wasn't in the overwhelming thoughts. Nothing had changed yet, and yet everything changed. Later, I didn't have to go run 20 miles. Later, I was able to use intuition as my heat. My mom and I were in New York City when we first started our business. We had our office in Wall Street, which is a very full circle moment for me. But we agreed to move back to California. And we moved not back to where we came from. We moved 4 hours away from California home. We moved to Carmel, Pebble Beach. It is so beautiful there. I remember going there when I was a kid and I just would stare out the window and think, oh my gosh, movie stars live here. They do. For the longest time, Clint Eastwood was the mayor. Bill Murray practically lives at that golf course. It was beautiful. It was the perfect little haven to go through a deeper layer of spiritual awakening. Whew. We would get in the car and we would take these drives on 17 Mile Drive. We would stare out the window, listen to music. We would talk, we would connect. Sometimes we were quiet, but we would always be connecting to love. I'm not going to tell you the only way to do things, the only way that energy works, the only way that alignment works, the only way that manifesting or healing or whatever words you want to throw out there. I'm not going to tell you or claim to be the only answer. What I will do is teach anything that has worked for me. And I will talk about what doesn't work. These drives were so damn inspiring. I remember this one morning, we had up-leveled our business so much. The amount of bills, office space, rent for multiple properties, it was exciting and extremely overwhelming for an entrepreneur. See, a lot of people don't talk about that side. I was never one to throw stats up on Facebook and talk about how successful I was. I'd always say, are you really sure you want to start your own business? You got to have some balls, okay? You got to have some big kahunas. You do. And there was this day where I was just so scared. I was so scared. I didn't quite understand self-employment tax the same way. And so in my mind, I had created like this $1 million tax bill that we were going to have. I was just overwhelmed. That didn't happen, by the way. But on that drive that day, I remember feeling like I have no idea how this is all going to work out. I have no idea. And my mom and I were connecting to divine love. And we heard, play. Play. If I'm at the end of the world and I see people running, I'm going to run. You know, that's just instinct. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I bet you there's no one at that restaurant we were talking about now this week. Let's go. I've never been good at playing. You can ask my mom. I never played as a kid. I was born 40, wanted to be a businesswoman with a laptop, wanted to have someone come bring me coffee, and I wanted my own blazer. I didn't understand play. My mom would give me these beautiful dolls and Barbies and all of these toys that were beautiful. And I would take that Barbie, brush its hair, change its outfit, change its shoes, and give it right back. There you go. I played. Anyone who is recovering from emotional pain has a really difficult time playing. We think we know how to play, but we don't know how to play that day, I said, well, the only way I really know how to play is to get in the water. Now, I've been surfing a few times. Wouldn't call myself an avid surfer, okay? But I still have my own wetsuit. I threw that on. Got a board out. Paddled my way, my little heart, all the way out. Probably a little farther than I should have gone. I was scared. In Carmel, the water is so clear, but you can see all of the kelp and rocks. And when you're sitting up above the water, everything looks like a shark. Everything. Jumping out of my skin. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Not to mention the waves. Surfing was very stressful for me. It's probably why I stopped. But this one day, I was sitting there telling myself, that's not a shark. That's not a shark. That's not a shark. That's not a shark. Until it was swimming around me. Rocks don't swim. I knew that much. And then it breached right beside me. Its fin. Rocks don't have fins either. This thing was massive. But it had this weird shaped head. Wasn't a dolphin. Wasn't a shark. It was either a really flat-nosed faced dolphin, but I'm pretty sure, to this day, I'm pretty sure it was a whale. It was massive, massive. It breached up next to me, circled around me. It was exhilarating, terrifying. My heart was beating so fast. Oh my God. I can like reconnect to that fearful moment. And there was this soft moment where it slowed down. And once I realized I wasn't in danger, that this was either a really weirdly looking dolphin or a whale, not a killer shark, I had this moment where I was in awe. Holy shit. Look at this massive creature feeling safe around me. It was beautiful, dangerous, exciting. I'll tell you what I wasn't thinking about. How I was going to pay all the bills. All of a sudden, a release happened. I started laughing. How did I get here? How am I now sitting next to this dolphin whale? I was still trying to adjust being in California, not in New York City. I'm like, oh, if New York City could see me now. But I got out of my head. I paddled, took the next wave, and I just soared right back in. All done for the day. I'm good now. I played. There was this really beautiful moment after. where we decided to have a fire during the sunset. And Carmel is very beautiful. The fog rolls in. It's gorgeous. We had this fire on the beach. And I'm sitting there with Mom, and all of a sudden she says, "Oh my God, I have to show you something." And she pulls up her phone, and she has a picture from her vision board of our moment. The sky was the same color. The fire, like how the fire wood was laid. The fire flames, how far we were from the sand to the water. The fog, the fire, everything. It was as if she had been carrying a moment of the future in her pocket. And you know what happened to me in that moment? A sigh of relief. That moment when you do believe something greater than you is guiding. That moment when you really do start to believe that magic is real. That moment when you start to realize we're going to be okay. See, in that moment, I knew play. Can't play every day, unfortunately. Not with the dreams I have, anyways. But play is essential. We have to get out of our head. See, what I've learned and what we teach here in the law of contrast is that any action doesn't get you farther. Aligned action does. And so people who try to take lots of action and get lots of movement going, they're going to other people's ice and helping them melt theirs. And then they're pissed that it's not theirs, that they stole their ice. You ran so far away from your ice. You ran towards someone else because you assumed and expected that that one was yours. And then you doubted. Well, that person took it. I guess I didn't get ice. Aligned action can bend time. And so if you pause to play or soften, you're not wasting time. You're realigning. Because when we get into our head, into the how, into the letting fear lead, see, we're comfortable with fear here, but it can never lead. When you stop becoming the most confident version of you, I would be very wary of the choices and actions you take. Because the acceptance is those people in your life, that job situation, maybe your parents, your kids, whatever effed up scenario you found yourself in, it isn't their fault that you're here. It's yours. Now we opened up this beautiful journey with you as a kid. What happened to you as a kid isn't your fault. But what happens to you today absolutely is. It's called the reality of consequence. And we need to accept in ourselves that those people, those jobs, those relationships, those effed up scenarios we picked because we wanted results and actions and control. Think about it. The effed up relationship, you didn't go into it believing it was effed up. You went into it thinking, maybe I'll change him, her. Maybe I'll be different. Maybe I'm the problem. You didn't go into that job scenario knowing every little detail, but you did know your truth. Did you lie? Everyone does. When we stop blaming, it isn't accepting fault. It's realigning. Ownership will always realign you. Softening is a beautiful form of taking ownership. Sometimes we have to soften our thoughts. Sometimes we have to soften our actions. But in your mind, when you are controlling, any step or action you take will push you in the opposite direction of alignment. Which is why I spent so much time with our manifesting students unteaching manifesting. The experience went from, all right, I can tell you what to do, but if you do it today, you are all going to run as fast as you can away from your happiness. Or I can show you what you need today. To this day, my mom and I still have clients working with us from our very first offer ever. Now, we've had to create and grow along with them, which is good. Look where we are today. But there was a trust that happened. There was a safety in the truth. And while it may not have been everything they wanted to hear in the moment, it's everything in their life they wanted to feel and see. It's funny, actually. We took quite a bit of time off. I got married and had 2 kids. We were restructuring our entire business from the ground up. We decided to just pause for a little bit, put everything on ice. We didn't shut everything down, we just paused. Oh my God. The amount of worry, fear, and doubt. The emails, when are you coming back? Are you ever? When you have magic in your life and it's not there and you feel alone, it becomes very clear how important that magic and connection is. Trust. To be able to trust someone else. That is magic as someone who is overcoming emotional pain. My mom and I pride ourselves on the ability to create true connection. It's one of our business values, our business soul and self. But what we don't teach and what we don't exhibit is control. Anytime I was worried about how to pay the bills, I never once went to my clients and sold them something they didn't need. In fact, there were times when I knew that the client I was talking to wasn't in a position to invest. I was in a position to need that paycheck. On a business standpoint. But she expressed to me a health scare she was experiencing. And it was either or. Didn't know how she was going to afford this massive procedure. And I looked at her and said, we can't take your money. She'd been our client for a while. And so we told her, we'll be here with you. We'll help you through the process. You're going to need to find this doctor. You're going to need to go through a big ordeal. We'll be able to support you in the best way we can at the $0 level. But we'll still be there for you. But we can't work together in this way because my mom and I, will never take desperate money, but also money in place of health. It kind of goes against every value we have. This now we refer to as ex-client got so heated. She went and started a podcast expressing how she had escaped a cult. Last I checked, cults take your money at the expense of your mental health. Last I checked. God, that cut me to the core. I looked at my mom. We both were in shock. How could you? Softening isn't being soft. It's not being weak. Softening is allowing. And my mom and I allowed that experience. We had compassion. We saw the pain. We attempted to reach out. But she had hardened. i.e., she started hiding and blocking. See, softening is showing up. In fact, for a long time, my mom and I had conversations where we said, man, all she has to do is show up and say, whoops, I was extremely triggered. You of all people know how much trauma I have in my life. But I need your help. But we would have been there. Now, I didn't take that experience and say, I'm never going to care about any of my clients ever again. F clients. Every relationship in your life is a risk. And you can't control people's reactions. And I do know how much trauma this person had. But all my clients have a lot of trauma. So I can't excuse behavior that I know isn't deserved. Funny thing, we all want love, and yet it's the thing we fear the most. It's the thing we push away the most and trigger. We don't actually hurt the people that deserve our hurt, if anyone did, because we're too afraid to hurt them. We hurt the people that are safe. We all do this, which is, guess what? Repeating the pattern of trauma. Because your abusers, your parents, your relationships, whoever scenario you found yourself in, if they did it intentionally, which sometimes they don't, but if they did, it was because they could control you. They weren't afraid of you. No one's afraid of a people pleaser, which is why you became one. I will break every rule in this industry. I will absolutely fall in love with every single person who is looking to find alignment here at The Inspired Lifestyle. There's a lot of people out there that say, oh, you're not just a number. I have this one sales email that's just like bugging me right now. I'm not going to out people, but this guy is trying to be like Mr. Cool Suave private jet, selling the answer to creating wealth. And I don't know, one of his TikToks was like, oh, let me see what this guy's up to. Logged in. I'm like, he had some really good points. He was smart. He was very educated. I'm like, oh, maybe I should like invest in, a more masculine figure. Until I started getting his emails. The emails were, oh, hey, you've got the most amazing business idea inside of you, don't you? Let's hop on a call and talk about it. Here's a link to my calendar. Everyone does this, by the way. It's a sales call. These are leads. I can see through it. I'm like, you don't know you're talking to me. I know you're not emailing me personally. You're not emailing Kayla. Kayla, you must not like to take opportunity in your life. It's been like 3 minutes since the last one. Email after email after email after email after email after email after email, just talking to himself in my box. I'm like, I'm not even dating this guy. Like, I've seen that happen, right? I've seen triggered people talking to themselves all over the place in all of my communications, but I didn't even like see this man in person. He sent me this email. Hey, I tried to call you. Pretty sure you don't have my number. And it's just control. Even your email marketing is trying to control the shit out of me. You don't even know me. And then the next one will be like, oh, I was thinking about you yesterday. I had this great idea. Let's see if you're a great fit for this mastermind. You were not thinking about me with your morning cup of coffee. You don't know me. And according to your other emails, millions of people do. So think about them. Anyways, I find it hilarious now. My mom and I kind of laugh. Like, what email are we going to get today? It's like the joke. And what's sad is so many people are following this guy. But here's the thing. He writes his emails in such a way where I get very sad because I realize I don't fall for this bullshit because I'm in my alignment. But the people that fall for this bullshit are the people I'm trying to help with this free content. Whether it's this guy or the controlling spiritual teacher or the community in general, there's also an era that needs to stop here. It's not about the numbers. And it's not about the numbers for you either. When I'm on TikTok, I've got one video that goes super viral. I've got 80 that have 200, 400 views. And I'm like, oh, only 200. But then the perspective is 200. 200 people that I don't know saw a little glimpse of me. That is a miracle. I think we forget how amazing that is. I grew up and we didn't have social media. Thank God. In high school. So sorry to all of the girls out there that have had to endure social media in high school. I can't even imagine. We just compared ourselves to the cover of magazines. You guys probably still do this too. I don't know. But dang it. we've forgotten the magic right in front of us because we're controlled in every sense of our being. Just think about this. At any point, you can open your phone, you can download some app, and you can be sitting next to a person you've never met tomorrow, wondering if they're the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. How bizarre is that? Magic is around us every day, but we're always looking for the controlled magic to make us believe that magic is real. Like, whoever's listening, I want to see 3 peacocks today. And if I see 3 peacocks, I know you're real. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Guess what? You're going to see 3 peacocks that day. You will, probably. Because energy flows where your focus goes. Signs aren't meant to make you make choices in your life. Signs are there to help you feel and understand and believe that you are in the alignment of the choice you have already made. So many people out there are trying to base a huge life decision on whether or not they see 3 peacocks that Tuesday morning. That is not a confident person. And I could imagine if there was a god, goddess of the universe, a whatever you want to imagine, would it be managing the entire world and saying, oh, hold on, we need to go give Kayla 3 peacocks because that is definitely her alignment. She needs to know it, and she definitely doesn't need to learn anything to understand it. Just give it to her. That's delusion. That's expectation. That's control. Now, magic is real. I live it every day. And yes, unexplainable things happen. I've had things happen in my life. Even my husband is now like, holy F. You're magic. You're my magic. But also, when are we going to start bringing in some stuff? Like, here's my list. Like, there's some magic around you. The more love we have for ourselves, for the people around us, we soften. Because you can't just trust the outcome of a thing in order to have trust. You have to trust people. You have to trust people or you will never reach alignment. You have to trust love. I mean trust. And I'm not just talking about will they cheat on you or not? Or, will they lie about everything that you've said and start a podcast and call you a cult leader? I'm talking about trust. Like when you're sitting on the call and someone tells you, hey, I can't take your money, but I care about you and I'll be there for you. You trust that love is talking to you, that you're not alone. The most healing person in our family is probably my husband. Good old Nick. He stepped into our family full of women with generational trauma. And not all men. If you're a man watching this, you're okay. But mostly from men. Probably all from men in our family. And Nick stepped in. And every woman in our family watched their heart melt. Mine definitely. It takes time to trust. It's not instant trust. You should never instantly trust someone, which is why we've told you here, take your time getting to know us. I don't expect you to instantly trust me. I'm not trying to say a catchy little phrase in your email so that you wake up one day and go, oh, you know what? I should trust Kayla. I show up consistently. I give consistently. I am here for you consistently until you are ready. So is your alignment. Your alignment is here. Softening is a melting, an allowing. What's beautiful is as clients in our manifesting experiences, we had some wins, but there was no like, at the end of 6 weeks, all these huge things happened. They did for me. Well, that's not what I'm trying to track. But here's what's happened over the years together. Unlearning and then learning. They've all transformed in an area where they never thought they could actually get to. And there's huge success. Purchasing property, homes, getting married, children, letting go of businesses that aren't aligned, stepping into new career paths, letting go of careers, moving to new locations, moving across the US, going outside the country, leaving toxic relationships, having the courage to fight, starting to feel hope. I love the emails that we get. I love them. Hey, just checking in. Haven't talked to this client 2 years. I'm like, what? What? That's no shit. You always wanted that. Good for you. But it was never the thing. It's always the feeling. It's the feeling that brings meaning to the work that we do here. Results can happen to anyone, but it's the results of that person who I know it was so hard for that person to do that thing, to get that place, to say that. Oh my God. Amazing. Greatest testimonial in the world for me is being proud. I am so proud of my clients. And if there's anything we all have in common, it's persistence. Love that. In this phase, I want you to be thinking about the areas in life that you're trying to control, the outcomes you're trying to control. I'm not saying let go of the how. The how is very important. But what I am saying is, are you trying to control? Are you in desperate energy? Hopefully on this phase you're not. We have a lot of clarity thrown in everywhere. We broke delusion down and breakdown. We woke up from it in sleepwalking. That was a very essential part of the process. But expectation is not trusting. So when you're out there scrolling on your social media feeds and you're signed up for these manifesting and healing teachers, and they're like, just wait with expectation. Wow. Worst advice ever in the world. No, that's the worst thing you could do for yourself. Take aligned action and trust. Now that's a completely different story. No more waiting and wishing and hoping for. We want to have hope in, but no more waiting, wishing, and hoping. No more coulda, shoulda, woulda. Stop. Play. Soften. Realign. Because that's the only way you're going to experience true alignment. You know what's beautiful? When the softening happens, you don't have the need to control anymore. You sit there and pull out your phone and go, oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. Because expectation is looking at that picture and trying to replicate that exactly how the picture is, so you can take a picture and show people, look, it's exactly like the picture. But anyone can do that. You lose the magic in the control. You lose the magic in the forcing of results. But the magic is always there with a feeling, which is why softening is a reminder to feel, and feel whatever is coming forward. It's an allowing that you might have to dip down into another phase and come back, but there's a trust knowing that you are right next to alignment. Be willing to melt, spark, glow, set fire to your ice block. And don't judge someone else's ice block who's halfway melted. Because you don't know how long they've been sitting there, how much action they took. It doesn't matter, time. And their alignment won't feel like fulfillment. Trust the alignment of your life. Soften, trust, and allow. You're loved.